Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Arnie Diaz Show. Today's show, a review of Violent Night, starring David Harbour as Santa Claus. Violent Night is a violent noir action caper that is wrapped up neatly in a pretty honest to God sentimental Christmas story. David Harbour plays a down and out Santa Claus, yes, the real Santa Claus, who stumbles upon a plot against a very rich family and becomes the protagonist in a very interesting hostage situation. I had a really fun time with this movie. I think some people are going to be a little bit off put by how much sentimentality this movie has because it has a lot and it isn't billed as a movie that has this much sentimentality. It simply bills itself as kind of a grindhouse film that has holiday cheer as the theme to it. And it definitely has a lot of that. This is a very violent film, but it also is kind of poignant. And the characters and actors really do try to kind of infuse this kind of noir grindhouse picture with some really well done, solid acting that does introduce a fair bit of sentimentality to the thing. David Harbour is really good as Santa Claus. He's a down and out Santa Claus that's kind of found his way into a very violent situation, who isn't afraid of getting down and dirty himself. And he does carry this whole movie's action. David Harbour's really good at this kind of style of action that puts him kind of on the nitty-gritty side of things, but ultimately he does pose a very striking force in a room and is able to hold his own. His portrayal of Santa Claus is honest and great and funny. David Harbour tends to play the same character in every movie, but at this point it hasn't gotten too tired, and I really like it when he's turning on the charm and doing his best in a really good action role. John Leguizamo definitely chews up scenery as the bad guy here. This movie has a lot of stuff going on, and there's definitely a lot of send-ups throughout the whole thing. You can just kind of feel the Die Hard coming off of the screen, as well as like the early '70s uh, John Carpenter film vibe. This is a hard R film as well. It is very violent, but you can really feel like the John Carpenter esqueness that is just peeling off the screen here. It is does feel like a send up to that, and I really do like the fact that it is a really well done sentimental movie. Heart at the middle of it is really it really does balance those two things really well. I do think that might be a turn off for some more cynical viewers of this movie, and I can understand why. But I think it is a really good way of tying everything together. Everyone does a good job in this movie. There's some really good actors here that are doing their best here, and I think the director, who is actually not a completely unknown, his name is Tommy Warnock. He's a Norwegian director who has done a lot of kind of direct to DVD horror movies in the last few years. Notably, he worked on Dead Snow. You've definitely seen the poster for Dead Snow. You may not have seen the movie, but you've definitely seen the poster for Dead Snow. He also wrote and directed Hansel and Gretel, that movie that came out about probably like 2012, that had a kind of a little bit younger Jeremy Renner a little while ago. I do like him and what he did in this movie. I think he did a really good job of balancing out the kind of action horror elements uh, to the really kind of heartfelt moments. He really did kind of embody a really early John Carpenter style, and I really like that because that's kind of what embodied those old John Carpenter films. A really kind of in-your-face actioneer. I really does have a style that harkens back to like early John Carpenter, with just like the raw aesthetic and really well done choreographed action beats that kind of blend together with this kind of like almost horror-esque action movie. I really did like that appeal of this. David Harbour kicks ass. I give Violent Night a solid 8.5, a really fun action romp. And this was definitely made for an audience of people who grew up watching Die Hard during Christmas, but also really liked Elf. David Harbour does an incredible job of binding, his goofy, really good charm with a really well done action set pieces, which he holds his own in, and he's just funny and charming throughout the entire thing. This is a violent movie. It earns its R rating. but it's a really good time, and I really recommend for all of you to see it. 8.5 for Violent Night. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll be doing a couple more reviews and some movie news throughout the week. Please comment, subscribe, talk to me. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about. I really appreciate it. Thank you.